G'day, this is Dr. Justin Coulson, the author of 6 books about raising happy families and the founder of happyfamilies.com.au. Here with Kylie, my wife, podcast co-host, and mum to our 6 daughters. We are sharing with you podcast conversations that matter. We think that this one is going to be really important.
It's the Happy Families podcast. It's the podcast for the time-poor parent who just wants answers now.
Margin means that there's room around the edges for you to do the stuff that lights you up, that's playful, that's fun, that brings you joy.
And now here's the stars of our show, my mum and dad.
What's your favourite game in the car?
I don't have a favourite game in the car. I like to eat in the car.
In the car. Is that why there's always crumbs everywhere?
And I like to sing.
Yeah, singing is good. Singing is fun. Singing is playful. What about I Spy, though? Surely you like I Spy.
Don't get me started with I Spy.
You don't like to play, though, do you?
It doesn't come very naturally to me, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah. So this is something that I've discovered as I watch parents. Actually, so we should introduce ourselves for those who are new to the podcast. I'm Justin.
The Grinch.
I've written 6 books about raising happy families. And you are...
I'm Kylie, and I'm Mrs. Happy Families.
Who doesn't like to play games?
Oh, you're hilarious.
Actually, you do like playing games, but
I do. I love playing Quirkle, and I love playing Blockers. They're all bright colours. I love colours.
Yeah. They're competitive. You like to destroy our children's self-esteem as you demolish them in every game.
So bad.
So today we're talking about playful households, because something that I've noticed about parents is that we don't often look like we're having fun when we're with our kids. Like when you watch parents in the shopping, and it's probably unfair because kids hate shops.
I don't know any parent who loves taking their kids to the shops.
I don't know any child who likes going to the shops, and that's the kind of the reason that was unfair. But even at the park, a lot of parents look bored. They don't want to be with their kids. And I reckon we need to talk about how to have fun, how to have a more playful family environment.
Well, that all sounds really, dandy, but the reality is life's hard. I just think about the person who comes home, whether it's mum or dad or both. You've been at work all day and you get home and you just want to have a few minutes of downtime.
Yeah, and with COVID, you don't even get that because coming home means leaving the study and walking into the living room. There's no time to decompress. Like, it's on.
And then every single person, whether it be your spouse or your partner or your children, everybody wants a piece of you. Mm-hmm. And you just want to decompress after the day that you've had and, compartmentalize everything. And you don't get that. And so how are you supposed to be playful with all of that?
I was going to say, it is hard to be playful because not only have you got to try to find the ability to smile and joke around and have a nice time with people, but you're also juggling this really significant issue of the cooking needs to be done, the cleaning needs to be done, and everything needs to be ready for tomorrow, and there's loads of washing to put on or take out of the dryer, and so there's a lot going on. And yet we know that kids who have high quality playtime with their parents are more resilient. They learn better boundaries. They have a higher level of connectedness and relatedness. Being playful at home is one of the easiest things that we can do to build connection, fill the relationship bucket full of water, that gorgeous stuff that makes everyone feel so good about life. And I reckon as hard as it is, and we should acknowledge that as you have, it's really important for parents to get reminders regularly to be playful. So I reckon we should have a conversation about how we can be more playful. And there's 3 things that I think we need. Number 1, margin.
Oh, really? What's margin?
Margin means that there's room around the edges for you to do the stuff that lights you up, that's playful, that's fun, that brings you joy. So we need margin.
Margin.
What's your point? I feel like you're kind of digging the knife in a passive-aggressive way and trying to injure me here.
Maybe.
What are you saying?
Oh, I'm sure everyone else will work it out.
What are you saying? Come on.
I don't think we have a lot of margin in our lives.
Okay, so 6 kids, a business, a podcast, blah, 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 blah. But we can still have a sense of time affluence, can't we?
Sure. If you follow me while you have a conversation as I clean the house and do the washing.
I help with that. Thank you.
You do.
So the first thing is margin, and I reckon we need to be really intentional about that, which is the second thing. Margin requires intention. So if we're going to be playful with our kids, we have to be intentional about not just being playful, but intentional about creating the margin so that we've got the headspace to play without being stressed and saying, oh, for goodness sakes, we haven't got time for this, go to bed.
So I'm going to ask you a question then around that intention. Did you feel very playful when the roof fell in?
Well, there are times to be playful and there are times to pick up the damage that's caused by a bath that has overflowed into the TV room downstairs and caused the ceiling.
Life is hard. And whether it's the ceiling caving in, there is stuff going on all the time. And as parents, it can be really, really hard to find the right mindset.
Okay, so two things about that though. First of all, people's roofs don't fall in every day, even metaphorically. And secondly, we have started laughing about it now that we're a few days down the track and we've realised that it's only going to cost a couple of $1,000s and not the bajillion dollars that we thought it was going to be, even though that's a horrible thing to have to go through. We're at the point now where we can giggle about it and it's funny. The third thing we need, if we're going to have a playful household, is margin, intention, and mindset. We've actually got to have the mindset that life is fun, that life is to be enjoyed, and that our family relationships can be playful and enjoyable. Now, I don't think that sarcasm is playful. I think sarcasm is usually rude and unkind, but we can be playful in our relationships with the right margin, the right mindset, and the right intention. Let's talk about what that looks like in practice right after the break.
It's the Happy Families Podcast.
Imagine a home where discipline got results without anyone having to feel bad or in trouble. The Do's and Don'ts of Discipline is a webinar to help parents set limits with love, compassion, and humanity. Find it now at happyfamilies.com.au/shop.
It's the Happy Families Podcast, the podcast for the time-poor parent who just wants answers now. And today we are talking about what a playful household looks like. And I've been thinking about this and thinking about our Mother's Day disaster. And I'm wondering whether or not you could have actually invited everybody down so they could have had a water fight. That would have been playful.
That would have been breathtakingly playful. I wish that I'd done that. See, now I'm feeling bad for being a big grump and saying Mother's Day is ruined because somebody's flooded the bathroom and the rest of the house.
Hindsight is a wonderful thing, is it not?
Yeah, it is, but it's also a great opportunity to learn to be better. So next time we do flood the house, we'll have a water fight, okay? That's my promise to you. I want to play something to you. You ready?
Oh, hi there, and welcome to Minnesota salads that aren't really salads. Today's ingredients for Snickers salad. That's right, in Minnesota, Snickers and apples can make a salad. I never said it was healthy. If you want to make the salad extra Minnesotan, use Honeycrisp apples, which were developed at the University of Minnesota in 1960. Mix 1 package of vanilla pudding into 1 cup of buttermilk. Whisk. Chop 8 apples. Add your chopped apples to the pudding. Lots of recipes say to take the skins off, but I say leave them on because where else are we getting fiber in our diet? Chop your Snickers. How many Snickers, you ask? Measure that with your heart. Fold in at least 1 tub of Cool Whip, but if you have too many apples, you'll need 2 tubs. And there you have it, Snickers salad. And yes, I also use Milky Way because I think it tastes like a caramel apple when it's all done.
Does that sound like fun? A Snickers salad?
That sounds like I've got Cinderella in my kitchen.
But how playful, right? How much fun. You know what I really loved? On Instagram in the last week or so, maybe the last 2 weeks, Hamish Blake, he's got this tradition. And it's brilliant. It's not as crazy, scary, horrible as a Minnesota salad that's Snickers and apples with extra fibre if you leave the skin on. What is going on there? But Hamish Blake made a commitment to one of his kids that every single year he would bake that child whatever cake he wanted.
He clearly doesn't have 6 children.
No, he doesn't. He has 2. But he promised that he would bake the cake for the birthday every single year, whatever cake the kid wants. And this year, the cake took Hamish. He created this Pokemon thing that opens and closes. It does so manually, and it's in a bowl of Jell-O, and there's cake, and there's just stuff everywhere. He was up until 1 a.m. He started at 7 p.m., finished at 1 a.m., consumed a surprising amount of alcohol while he was doing it to get through the night, I think. But I just thought, here's this guy. Now, obviously, he's a comedian, and everyone in Australia knows Hamish Blake he's one of our most loved comedians, and he's also clearly a really devoted dad. And if you follow him on Instagram, you'd see that. But we talk about playfulness, and if you go through those 3 things that I was talking about, margin. Hamish Blake has created the margin that he needs to bake the cake every single year, no matter what it takes. Intention. He's really intentional about being playful. And third, he's got a mindset that says, I'm here for my kids and I want their lives to be joy and fun. Now, that takes the cake. Can I say that?
You're so bad. So bad.
But what I love about that story is that all of us can do our own version of that in our homes. It doesn't have to involve ovens and icing mixture and Pokemon or anything like that. But
I'd like you to see you take that one on.
I'm going to bake a cake this weekend.
Okay, let's see.
I'm not saying it's going to be fancy. It's going to come straight out of a packet, but I'll bake a cake just to prove that I can. And then I'm going to eat it in front of you.
Oh, is that right?
To prove that I can bake a cake. I might share some of it with you. So let's talk about some ways that we can be playful in our homes. What do you reckon?
Well, look, you've set me up to be the unplayful person in our family.
Well, okay, let me ask you a question then. Prove me wrong. When was the last time that you played any kind of wrestling game with the kids?
I'm not going to wrestle with the kids. Do you know how much I'm spending with my exercise physiologist to get my neck and shoulders all back to normal?
Okay.
They told me I had a cheese board for a back.
I rest my case. A cheese board for a back. No.
I'm supposed to have cheese spine, but
Right.
I have a cheese board spine. Who says that?
I don't know. So, but you're not playful because you don't wrestle the kids, right?
No, that's not true.
Okay.
at all.
Tell me when you play with the kids.
Well, we put the music on really loud in the mornings when you're off gallivanting around the countryside. I don't know, surfing or whatever else you do at that early hour of the morning. We put the music up really loud and we dance. You should see Emily's moves. She's awesome.
Okay. So, but do you dance or do you just turn the
Of
music
course I dance. Where do you think they got their moves from? Not one of us can dance.
All right. Well, that kind of takes care of my first three things that I had on my list: music, dancing, and singing. They're great ways for us to play with our kids.
I rest my case.
Okay. What else have you got on your list for how we can be more playful?
Look, I think one of the most favourite things that I love doing is when we break the rules.
Oh, tell me more about that.
Well, we have certain rules. The kids go to bed at 7:30. We don't watch TV
Yeah,
after.
As if. They do not. You make it sound so perfect. When was the last time our kids went to bed at 7:30?
I'm not saying our kids. I'm just saying you have rules.
Oh, gotcha.
And 7:30 might be a time frame that some people put their children to bed. Or you might have a rule that you eat a main meal before you have dessert.
Yes.
Or you might have a rule that you don't watch TV on school nights. Anything. Like, we've all got rules.
And you're saying you can be more playful if you break the rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How cool is it when your kids come home from school and you go, you know what? We're going to have a movie night tonight. And I know we usually eat at the dinner table, but we're going to have dinner in front of the TV.
I'm still going to argue that a movie night's the best way to be playful, but I take your point. It's great to do that. One of my favourite ways to be playful is we play this game with the kids. I know you hate it because it destroys your beautifully made bed every time. We play this game called Push Dad Off the Bed. It started when our eldest was our only child and she was only a couple of years old, and she started trying to push me off the bed one day, and that turned into a game, and it's been going for 20 years, and I usually get injured. I need to go and see a masseuse, chiropractor, a physio. The bed takes an absolute hammering as well. But we push Dad off the bed, and then once I'm off the bed, the kids jump on, and I've got to get all of them off the bed at the same time, which is getting increasingly difficult the older and bigger that they get. But playfulness, goofing off, the intention, the mindset, and having the margin for it. These are some ideas that maybe will help your family to be a little more playful tonight.
Well, I think we can be really playful tonight if you organise dinner.
Right. I'll tell you what, donuts for dinner.
Oh, yes. Done.
We'll break the rules and we'll sing really loud while we're eating them. We really hope that you've enjoyed the podcast. We have so much fun playing around with these ideas and sharing them with you. We will not be talking about Minnesota salads ever again. Snickers and apple should never be combined in the same recipe.
Oh, I think that sounds really good.
Of course you do.
Just not with donuts.
Yeah, I'm not going to make that for your cake this weekend. That's a guarantee. Thanks so much for listening. Tomorrow, a Q&A from one of our listeners via podcasts at happyfamilies.com.au. Michelle wants to know about how to help her 8-year-old with some body image issues. And I can't wait for Wednesday. Maggie Dent, talking about raising boys. It's going to be a conversation that I'm really, really looking forward to. Maggie's a superstar when it comes to talking about boys, and that's coming up then. The Happy Families podcast is produced by Justin Rulon from Bridge Media. Craig Bruce is our executive producer. And if you want more info about how to make your family happier, all you have to do is jump onto Facebook, Dr. Justin Coulson's Happy Families, or visit our website where you can get all the info you need, happyfamilies.com.au.